Arsenal have delivered a huge statement of intent by securing the long-term future of Bukayo Saka while simultaneously making strong progress on two major transfer fronts, underlining their ambition to compete at the very top of English and European football. The club has officially confirmed that Saka has signed a new 5-year contract, a deal that represents far more than a simple renewal, as it locks in one of the Premier League's most influential young stars and sends a clear message that Arsenal are building for dominance, not selling success. At the same time, negotiations with Guehi and Rodrygo have moved into an extremely positive phase, with both players already agreeing personal terms with the North London side, marking a decisive and potentially defining week in Arsenal's long-term project. Saka's commitment is widely viewed as the most important piece of business Arsenal have completed this season, as the England international has evolved from a Hale End Academy graduate into a world-class winger capable of deciding matches at the highest level, and by committing his future, he has reinforced the belief that Arsenal is the right place to achieve his biggest ambitions. Talks between Saka's representatives and the club were described as smooth and aligned, with both sides sharing the same vision for sustained success, and Arsenal making it clear that Saka remains the heartbeat of their future plans both on and off the pitch. Still only 23, Saka is already a leader within the squad, admired for his professionalism, consistency, humility, and relentless work ethic, and his new deal reflects not only his footballing importance but also his growing influence within the dressing room. The improved contract reportedly places him among the club's highest earners, a reward for his performances and loyalty, but more importantly it sends a powerful signal to rivals that Arsenal intend to keep their best players and build around them. For supporters, this extension provides reassurance and stability at a time when many elite clubs struggle to retain their star talents, and it allows Arsenal to plan the future with confidence, knowing that one of their most decisive performers remains central to everything they are building. Alongside the Saka announcement, Arsenal's pursuit of Guehi has gathered real momentum, with the England international centre-back reaching an agreement on personal terms, a major step forward in what could be a transformative defensive signing. Guehi is highly regarded for his composure, tactical intelligence, leadership qualities, and ability to perform consistently at the highest level, and Arsenal view him as a perfect fit for their evolving defensive structure. The defender is understood to be impressed by the club's long-term sporting vision, the opportunity to compete for major trophies, play Champions League football, and continue his development within a progressive system, and while talks between the clubs are still ongoing, there is growing optimism that a deal can be concluded given the positive stance of the player and the constructive nature of discussions so far. Perhaps the most exciting development for fans is Arsenal's progress with Brazilian forward Rodrygo, who has also agreed personal terms, clearly signaling his desire to take on a new challenge in the Premier League and be part of Arsenal's rising project. Rodrygo is admired for his technical quality, explosive pace, creativity, and proven ability to deliver on the biggest stages, and Arsenal's recruitment team believes he can take the attack to an entirely new level by offering versatility across the front line and adding genuine world-class quality. Talks with Rodrygo's representatives have been described as positive and respectful, with the player drawn to Arsenal's attacking philosophy, competitive ambition, and the opportunity to play alongside Bukayo Saka and a core of elite young talent. Although final negotiations between clubs remain, Arsenal are confident that agreeing personal terms represents the most difficult part of the process and shows a strong mutual belief in the project. Collectively, these developments highlight a clear, coordinated strategy from Arsenal's leadership, focused on retaining key figures, strengthening areas of need, and adding elite talent to push the team closer to major honors. By securing Saka's future while advancing deals for Guehi and Rodrygo, Arsenal are striking the perfect balance between stability and ambition, blending homegrown excellence, Premier League experience, and global attacking flair. Supporters have reacted with excitement and optimism, seeing these moves as proof that Arsenal are serious about closing the gap on Europe's elite and transforming potential into sustained success. With Saka committed long-term and personal agreements in place for Guehi and Rodrygo, the future in North London looks increasingly bright, and if club-to-club negotiations are finalized, Arsenal will have strengthened both defense and attack while keeping their most valuable asset at the core of the project, a moment that could be remembered as the turning point when Arsenal truly re-established themselves as a powerhouse built on smart planning, ambition, and belief, because this is not just about today, it is about shaping a future designed for greatness. Arsenal have taken a decisive and highly symbolic step toward shaping a dominant future by locking in Bukayo Saka on a new 5-year contract while simultaneously advancing major transfer plans involving Guehi and Rodrygo, a sequence of developments that underlines the club's renewed ambition to compete consistently at the very highest level of domestic and European football. The confirmation of Saka's long-term commitment represents far more than a routine contract extension, as it secures the services of one of the Premier League's most influential and marketable stars while reinforcing the idea that Arsenal are building a project designed for sustained success rather than short-term flashes of promise. At the same time, Arsenal's negotiations with Guehi and Rodrygo have progressed impressively, with both players already agreeing personal terms with the North London club, signaling genuine belief in the direction Arsenal are heading and marking what many see as a defining moment in the club's modern rebuild. Saka's new deal stands out as the most important piece of business Arsenal have completed in recent seasons, as the England international has grown from a gifted academy graduate into a global star capable of deciding the biggest matches under intense pressure. By choosing to commit his prime years to Arsenal, Saka has made a powerful statement about his faith in the club's vision, its leadership, and its potential to challenge for the sport's biggest prizes. Negotiations between Saka's representatives and Arsenal's hierarchy were reportedly smooth and collaborative, with both sides aligned on the same long-term objectives, and the club leaving no doubt that Saka remains the central figure around whom future plans will be built. At just 23 years old, Saka is already viewed as a leader within the squad, not only for his performances on the pitch but also for his professionalism, humility, consistency, and relentless drive, qualities that have earned him admiration from teammates, staff, and supporters alike. The improved contract is believed to place him among Arsenal's top earners, reflecting his importance and loyalty, but perhaps more importantly, it sends a clear message across the Premier League and Europe that Arsenal are no longer a club willing to lose their best talents at their peak. For fans, this deal provides reassurance and stability, confirming that the core of the team remains intact and that the project under the current management has the full trust of its most influential player. Since establishing himself in the first team, Saka has delivered decisive goals, assists, and match-winning performances across league and European competitions, and his intelligence, versatility, and maturity have made him virtually indispensable. With his future secured, Arsenal can now plan with confidence, constructing a squad capable of challenging for major honors with Saka firmly at the heart of everything. Alongside this landmark renewal, Arsenal have also made notable strides in their pursuit of Marc Guehi, with the England international centre-back agreeing personal terms in what represents a crucial breakthrough in the transfer process. Guehi is highly regarded for his calmness under pressure, strong positional sense, leadership qualities, and ability to organize a defense at the highest level, and Arsenal believe he would be an ideal fit for their system and long-term vision. The defender is understood to be attracted by the opportunity to compete for trophies, play Champions League football, and continue his development within a progressive and ambitious environment, and talks between the player and the club have reportedly been positive from the outset. While negotiations between the clubs are still ongoing, there is growing confidence within Arsenal that a deal can be reached, given the player's clear interest and the constructive tone of discussions so far. Perhaps the most eye-catching development of all is Arsenal's progress with Rodrygo goes, with the Brazilian forward also reaching a full agreement on personal terms, a strong indication of his willingness to embrace a new challenge in the Premier League. Rodrygo is widely admired for his technical brilliance, explosive pace, creativity, and proven ability to perform on the biggest stages, and Arsenal's recruitment team views him as a player capable of elevating the attack to an entirely new level. His versatility across the front line would offer tactical flexibility while adding genuine world-class quality, and discussions with his camp have been described as respectful and encouraging, with the player drawn to Arsenal's attacking philosophy, competitive ambition, and long-term vision. The prospect of playing alongside Bukayo Saka and a core of elite young talents was a significant factor in Rodrygo's openness to the move, and although final club-to-club negotiations remain, Arsenal believe that agreeing personal terms represents the most challenging part of the process and demonstrates strong mutual belief in the project. Taken together, these developments reflect a clear, unified strategy from Arsenal's leadership, focused on retaining cornerstone players, reinforcing key areas, and adding elite quality to push the team closer to major trophies. By securing Saka's future while advancing deals for Guehi and Rodrygo, Arsenal are combining stability with ambition, blending homegrown excellence, Premier League experience, and global attacking flair into a balanced and forward-thinking recruitment approach. Supporters have responded with optimism and excitement, viewing these moves as evidence that Arsenal are serious about closing the gap on Europe's elite and transforming potential into sustained success. With Saka committed for the long term and personal agreements already in place for Guehi and Rodrygo, Arsenal's future looks increasingly bright, and if negotiations between the clubs are successfully completed, this period could be remembered as the moment Arsenal truly turned promise into power, driven by intelligent planning, unwavering belief, and a clear vision for greatness.